going on, everybody? This is Jay Leno, and I'm here with my crew to talk about the conclusion of the Ironheart series, as well as we are going to be doing a little bit of a showdown in comparison to Tony Stark, to Riri, their significance, a little bit of their backstories, and I guess what the MCU possibly missed out on, what could have been, as well as we're going to be talking about. Uh, Honestly, I'm going to go with the titling this second part of this stream with has the Avengers films ruined the original Avengers grounded films and sequels? But without further ado, we're going to start off by talking about the significance of the entirety of the Ironheart series. Um, let's see here. Do we want to go with Darrell or Bundle first?
You can start with me.
Okay, yeah. So, Darrell, if you don't mind,
I'll go last.
pretty much speaking on the significance of the Ironheart series.
I really liked it. You know what I mean? I watched the reactions of other people watching it because I was busy. But when I seen so far of it, I really like. You know what I mean? I like the character. I like the grief she's going with. You know what I mean? Losing her stepfather and best friend. Um, I like how smart she is, even showing her flashbacks as a kid. Uh, Shoot. What else? I like that. You know what I mean? She struggles with her emotions with going through stuff. So I really like it so far. I can't wait to see what they do with her next.
Okay, okay, nice. I agree. How about yourself, Bundle? You mind kind of giving us a breakdown of the significance of this entire series?
Um, with respect, I just got one slight phone call. You just give me like 2 minutes. I'm sorry. Okay, but I am still here. I'm sorry.
Okay. Jonan, do you have anything to implement on the significance of this series? Okay, he's going in and out. Well, so I guess I'll go. I'll put in my 2 cents. Uh, with with this Ironheart series, one thing that stood out to me the most is that this series takes place post Wakanda Forever, and it looks like uh, basically Riri Williams, her biggest flaw is being young and her femininity and being able to balance her emotions, which within the series she struggles with balancing her emotions, and there's consequences behind it. And I think this is a more this is something I'm not accustomed to in a Marvel series or any other series, because I'm generally used to seeing a triumphant hero, especially at their beginning stages, and yet it's more of a struggle bus for six episodes. But one thing that really stood out to me the most in this series was the introduction to the spiritual realm, bringing in the Red Hood as a villain, as well as being introduced into Mephisto. I was really wondering how the MCU was going to introduce them, considering that, I mean, hell, we didn't get an opportunity to get, excuse me, we didn't get an opportunity to get Ghost Rider. And then we got glimpses of Mephisto's presence in Wanda and in Agatha, but we actually get, I guess, a glimpse of Mephisto's powers through the Red Hood, and have an opportunity for Riri to use magic and technology, and I guess to almost foreshadow a possible someone else that can battle with Doctor Doom, who uses technology and magic as well. So that, to me, that was the significance of the series. But I'm gonna pass this on over to SSJ, and give me your, if you don't mind, giving me your synopsis.
So, my turn. So, Riri Williams, she, to me, they advertise this character to be like this next big hero who's very smart and intelligent. And mind you, they emphasize hero a lot, but she doesn't come across as a hero in this show. She does a lot of dirty work. She does people's assignments for money. She does heist missions. She got somebody killed. She's absolutely not a great person or somebody that's younger, a younger black girl should be trying to strive to look forward to. And a lot of people are getting the message wrong that, oh, well, she's just getting it from the mud because of a line they said in the show. But you don't have to go that route. And even the hood said that to her, that she didn't have to go that route. She could stop anytime she wanted to, but chose not to. So to me, this character was not very significant. She was absolutely unnecessary. This character storyline with Mephisto is actually borrowed from Spider-Man. Most fans don't know that. When Aunt May got killed, he made a deal with Mephisto to bring Mary Jane, not Mary Jane, Aunt May back to life. So it's basically the same borrowed story. You still have the same themes of female empowerment. There's not that many males in this show. The only males you have is Obadiah Stane's son, who's pretty much a beta male in this show. He got kicked in the groin.
SSJ, are you still there? Hello? SSJ.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. We got you back. I don't know if there was a connection issue or something, but it's like you had like a pause in a moment. I'm just making sure you still got connection. Hello?
Oh.
Well, hopefully we get SSJ back in here.
Oh, at least it's not just me.
See what happens now.
There
Hello?
he is.
Hello.
Yeah, you almost sound a little far away. Are you there?
Hello.
Yeah, your audio sounds crazy. Darrell, can you speak?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Okay, you're clear. All right, and then Jonah, you can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, yeah, you're loud and clear. Okay, well then, Jonah, would you mind throwing in your significance to the series?
Well, how I feel about Ironheart is, I mean, to be honest with you, I don't really feel that moved by it. Where I'm not really, definitely not for it, but I'm not against it entirely. Like it's not something that offends me per se, but it's just like, like
Connection.
it's kind of just mediocre or whatever. It doesn't do anything for me because I don't really have much of an attachment to almost any of the characters except for, well, I find the Hood to be interesting and definitely Mephisto. And the only other character I actually do kind of like is actually Ezekiel Sane, which I definitely wanted to come here on the stream to definitely talk about Ezekiel Sane because, well, we'll get into that when we get to that.
Okay. Well then, SSJ, I know you. I'm trying to remember what point that you have. I know you were at the point in your conversation talking about the
Mephisto and Spider-Man.
Yeah, Mephisto and Spider-Man. If you wanted to continue your point.
Yeah, so it's basically a borrowed storyline from one of Spider-Man's comics from his later runs where Aunt May dies. And basically Mephisto comes to Spider-Man telling him that he can bring her back. And then basically he makes a deal with Mephisto. That was basically a storyline they borrowed from him and used for Ironheart to bring in Mephisto. Because they basically were just saying, oh, well, let's try to bring in Mephisto. And the point you made earlier about Mephisto being in WandaVision was false. He was never in WandaVision. And if you look at with Jacqueline Schaefer, that's the writer of WandaVision, she doesn't even know who Mephisto is.
I honestly was speaking on his presence because it was assumed that he was the one who impregnated her and gave her children. I believe that was implied, at least from the comics.
You're talking about in WandaVision, the two
Yeah,
kids?
He didn't
'Cause those
impregnate her,
kids
but
don't
the souls were attached.
Yeah, it's like
Mephisto
attached
was the one that
souls.
attached those souls to them. That Agatha and that cow allowed to help them be born. So Mephisto did allow that to be happen, which is why everyone thought Mephisto was there to begin with, but
Yeah.
not yeah, I know what you're
The
saying.
writers didn't know though. But yeah, I just think that yeah, so to me those were the only interesting things about the show as a whole. I know I forget what that one guy that streams, Chris something. I know he got a huge boner when Mephisto got revealed. But that's pretty much the only interesting thing about this show. I didn't care about any of the other characters. We didn't really have a lot of male characters besides Ezekiel Stain. Ironheart, of course, the dead stepfather, always the stepfather or dad that's dead. And I think in the previous stream we were saying, "Where's all the dudes? Like, there's nobody else." There was I think
We're all
Natalie's
the men.
boyfriend or whatever, but he's a cuck to me though.
No, his boyfriend. Oh no,
Well,
wasn't it her brother or something like that?
No, that
No,
was
it was Natalie's boyfriend, the one that passed away. They were dating, the guy with the hat.
Oh, okay.
What did you guys think of the little sorceress that helped let
Zelma.
yeah let Ironheart know about Dormammu?
Wasn't her name like Thelma or something like that with the hat and the glasses?
Zelma.
Zelma.
Yeah.
Thelma.
I didn't mind her because she's actually a comic book character. So, and this is not me saying that I'm praising it or anything like that, but I'm just saying like
Nobody's gonna hurt
at
you
least
if
they
you're gonna
gave
praise
us
anything.
no, but I'm just saying at least they gave us an actual comic book character instead of just making some random like made up character for the show. Like she actually is somebody from the comics that was Doctor Strange's librarian that ends up
Was
she
there a
ended up
made up
having a
character
huge
in this
role.
show?
Honestly, is there too much that's not from the comics in this
No, there isn't.
That's about to say
It's
this series it's
it's
got a
pretty
lot
much
of comic book
verbatim.
inclusion.
It's pretty much verbatim, yeah.
No,
Uh,
but you know what I mean though. You know like how I'm just saying shows in general, like they won't use the actual character from the comics. They'll just make up this character for the show just because. So I'm
Well,
actually giving them credit for bringing her in to connect us to Doctor Strange and Dormammu.
okay. Well, Bundle, we got your attention.
I was listening.
Okay, cool. Well, I've been waiting. We kind of had to speed things up, but I
Okay.
want to know what your
All right.
what
So
your
the question
of
is
the
how I feel about the show.
the significance. You can talk about how you feel about the show as well
There's
as the
a very
significance of this
small
entirety.
significance. There's a very small significance with Ironheart in the show and within the comic. Her only significance was to the end of the very end of the show, which I believe we'll go into more depth later on, with what her deal is with Mephisto, because Riri is a part of so many teams in the future, the Champions, Young Avengers, and stuff like that. So any implication going forward to see her on a major team, small team, you always have to know that Mephisto is now there. You know what I mean? And we'll get to Mephisto deals and how long he's been to the MCU later on. But as far as who she is as a comic, honestly, if you didn't like the show, it's fine. But if you didn't like the show, you just didn't like the character, because what they showed in the show is who she is in the comic book.
Mm.
They got about like 93% of her origin, 100% are right. Outside of a little, dorky status with Ezekiel Stain in the beginning, they got Zeke right. The only thing that I really have a true gripe about is Parker Robinson's his crew, the twins, Slug, Rampage, Clown.
Mhm.
I'll get into that later on. That's the real true
You
issue
can
that
if
I
you
had
can
with
if
it.
you want. You can get into it.
I mean,
Yeah.
They were terrible.
but they were terrible. That's just not what it was. That was just Disney and its inclusion. Which I understand.
LGBT representation to
It's
the
Disney.
max.
It's Disney. Yeah, and that's what Disney's about. Their inclusion. So you knew that would happen.
The definition
So
of
you know,
not imposing.
you shrug your shoulders to certain things and then realize what's important, and they weren't, which is why they were gone for 4 episodes. So whatever. But anyway, outside of them, as far as Riri and Parker Robbins, that's their background story. That's their origin. That's that. So if we're looking for comic book accuracy, that's what we got. Whether we cared for it or not is another story. if you didn't care for it, I don't think that's a knock on the show. I think that's just a knock on the writers and the character as a whole. You know what I mean? There's a such thing as bad comic book stories, bad comic book characters, and this is just a character that I just don't feel enough people cared about. It's a legacy character, a female version of Iron Man. It's not a bad show. It represented the heart of who she was, exactly what the character is, and Chicago. It had its cheesy moments, but outside of that, it's who she is. But no one really cares about the character, so because of that, it's a 5.8 or 6.2.
I do have a question for you guys. If Tony wasn't dead and he kind of was aligned with Riri, would the overall view of this series have changed?
No, because in the comic book, that's exactly what it is, and they went out of their way to change it. So it didn't seem it was too Tony Stark or aka RDJ derivative. They wanted her to be her own separate entity. That's why they established, I want to be bigger than this, bigger than Pym, bigger than Kree, bigger than Stark, bigger than Wakanda. You know what I mean? They wanted her to separate herself from that rather than just be.
So it
I'm
would. Are you
inspired
saying that
by
it
him.
would or would not help if
By
she
putting him
if it
down.
went another way?
And it wouldn't have helped. It wouldn't have helped. It would have went more along with her comic book counterpart, but it wouldn't have helped. They wanted her to set herself apart, and I mean that's what they wanted to do. Whether it
You
worked or
agree
not,
it was a
it's
good
just,
idea? Okay. How about the rest of you guys? Do you guys think it was a good idea
it,
to
it
not
didn't it didn't
include
hurt or
Iron
harm
Man?
the character, but it's whatever.
I got you.
Yeah, I'd say so.
You
It-
said
I
it
would
would.
not want to see Iron Man interacting with Riri.
You said you
Well,
would or wouldn't.
Wouldn't.
Okay.
I will say that since she's an Iron Man adjacent character, and I know I'm not really a huge fan of the character either, but since she's Ironheart and she's a connected character to Iron Man, I think she should at least interact with somebody from like Iron Man supporting characters or something. Like somebody can come to her or something, like it could be either Happy, Pepper, Rhodey. I think definitely Rhodey or something. And he can make like a Force
does
Works
have
and
it,
stuff, and
but not
Ironheart could
before.
probably join that or something like that. I think that would be best for her versus just making her like a standalone kind of hero or something.
I think they usurped that in the comic books because in the comic book she becomes that because Tony Stark himself is her AI. So they kind of
Yeah.
usurp everyone else. Like, oh, we don't need a Happy, we don't need it. So it's like, why do you need that? You have Tony Stark himself as your AI. So I think that's where that came from, and it's just like, you know what, we're not going to derive out of that because the only other derivative we have is Natalie, and that was your AI, and we have that. So let's go with that. And Tony and Robert Downey Jr. cost too much. Let's put it as an AI. So,
That's true.
Yeah.
Or here's another idea. What they could probably do, they could probably like show like a flashback scene or something like of Riri, like in class or something, like she's in like a special tech school or whatever, and Tony decides to like visit. So I'm not sure if they actually get the actual Robert Downey Jr.
They did
or, like,
have that, like one of her intros. They have a picture of like her like throwing thumbs up, and Tony Stark is like in the background with her. But that's not. I know
Yeah.
that's not what you're talking about. But yeah,
I got you.
Oh yeah, it's not, but that can definitely work though.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, or like they show the back of his head and they're like, oh, that's Tony Stark, you know.
She
Or
got
something
his.
like that.
She got the Tony Stark like a scholarship when she was 15 to even go to like MIT because she built that whatever. Never mind. It's not my time to talk. Never mind.
But yeah, that's what I think they could. That's how they can connect the characters, and then that way Riri can be like, all right, well, I just want to be like Tony Stark instead of how in the comics and stuff. Yeah.
Well, I do you guys something even better. If they would have canceled this show, that would have been so much better. They would have just shelved this show.
You should have canceled Echo, not this one.
I wouldn't be
This
against
one
that.
at least introduced Mephisto, so now we have
Yeah.
a reason to be excited about it.
Yeah, this
Other
this-
characters,
yeah.
with other shows, we didn't. At least
They don't have
this
another
one,
avenue.
We had another version of the Young Avenger. We filled that gap in. We went ahead and tied the loose end for Wakanda 2, and we went ahead and introduced Mephisto. So this
Well,
one,
just saying,
keep this
Echo
one,
could
but
have
get
been
rid
good.
of
That's
the
the
two other ones.
that is the significance of
So
this
that-
series.
that's the significance. So it's like Hawkeye didn't do that.
Like, it's not a
Echo
waste.
didn't do that. Other ones didn't necessarily get rid of them. Keep this one.
Echo could have been good had they had kept her comic accurate and hired somebody who can
So
actually talk to her.
so to actually talk, you don't think she can talk?
She can talk.
The
Who can
actress
talk?
can't talk, but
The
What?
Echo
actress,
in the
yeah,
comics can.
Wait,
yeah,
She's
what?
deaf, but
because
she can talk in the comics
Who you
too.
talking
Are you
about?
talking about Echo? Or are you talking about Riri?
Riri?
I'm
no, he's talking
talking
about
about Echo.
Oh, okay.
so like the actress that's playing
I
The
Echo,
think that
actress
they
that
Why?
plays
should.
her
since
Yeah,
she's
We're,
character.
deaf,
yeah,
she
we're
can't
going
like
we're
yeah.
going off the grid
talk.
talking about
Yeah,
Echo
we're
right
going off
now.
the grid. Yeah. But yeah, I think they should have definitely allocated their budget to something else
I was
outside
just
of Echo.
commenting on something you just
Echo
said,
didn't.
but
Echo
okay.
didn't progress anything. They should have
But
put that into
I
something
I
different.
do
But
have
I
a
know what you're talking about.
question for you, SSJ. What so based off of what's available right now for the MCU, how else would you have introduced Mephisto and Magic?
Mephisto could have easily been in one of the Doctor Strange movies. Probably
Mm,
Doctor Strange 2. Not the first one, but the second one, since we already had Dormammu in the first one, and he
Now,
mentions Dormammu, so he
you
could
gotta
have
take into
easily
now
been
consideration.
I
in the
do
Take
I
into
second one.
do I
consideration
do want to
shit.
say that
So
with them canceling the second season, we possibly just got the cancellation of Blackheart.
there's a lot of things that's been canceled since
Yeah, this like a
2019.
second
In between
second
2019 and
season of this, I
2022,
believe, was going to introduce Mephisto's son.
maybe, but
Too
2019
soon.
and 2022 messed up a lot of things. Man. COVID and the strikes, that
And
really
Blade.
messed up like 4 or 5 years worth. A lot of people don't even know the Ironheart series that we're watching right now. They
Yeah, this
wrapped
was filmed
filming
3 years
in
ago.
August 2022.
Yeah, this was made
That's
3
when they
years ago, and
wrapped
it
film. You know what I
shows.
mean? Like that COVID, those strikes, it backed everything up 3 to 2.5 to almost to 4 years. That's why a lot of things are really discombobulated. So that's also why I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt on a lot of things first, because that's a huge discrepancy to know that I'm going to film something here. I'm start production in the beginning of 2021. It's going to end in the middle of 2022. It's going to come out in the beginning of 2023. Psych, middle of 2025. Now, everything else that's a project in between now gets that same treatment 2.5, 3 years afterwards. How does that now work with all MCU major projects? And now everyone's memory with everything works. You got to reroute everything. Like we're not going to get into that whole feel sorry for him aspect, but that's a big deal. If you have a certain job and someone tells you you're going to take a year and a half to 2.5 years off and not touch it, that's going to impact anybody. But anyway, that's not what we're on.
So
But yeah, they took a big backseat because like he described it, this show ended filming in 2022 August. We're just now getting it. So imagine the impact of every other film that came out or every other project from that. So they're just kind of picking up the scraps.
I will say the pace of this series.
They're definitely giving
I
us scraps.
like this series more than I like this
help it.
past Daredevil series.
Okay, it's arguable, but all right.
Yeah, I can't really argue since Born Again was not that good either. And I've seen people online saying
Well,
like
I mean,
season 2 of Daredevil is worse than Born Again.
I will say this though, like if
It's
I were
not bad.
if I were to compare these two series, it's like Daredevil had Fisk. I mean Fisk did amazing acting, but the alignment of checking the boxes of what I was looking for that series, I didn't get at the pace that I wanted. Now with this film, with this series, I had no expectation, and for what I learned, there wasn't a boring moment that I had with this Ironheart series. Like she like from the beginning of the series to the end, she's like on the run, she's gathering materials, and she's on her hustle, and she's immediately interacting with her adversary, her villain, like quickly.
That's what the
And
comic book is.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
I
it's
mean, you
just
know what I mean?
ongoing
This
scenes.
is a fast-paced series. Which, if for people that don't want that much dialogue and that much talking, this is quintessentially it. I just don't think people are interested in Ironheart. Like
That's exactly what it is.
That's
like
why
other than
Daredevil. That's why Born
or
Again
they just
will
don't like seeing a
automatically just be
woman
better.
like doing anything cool. But like technically,
That's
like
what it is.
this is quintessentially
That is exactly
what
her
everybody's been
character is.
asking for, but it's a woman.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's exactly her character. It's exactly her story. It's just, if you don't like the show, it's just like you don't care for the character, which is fine. I mean, there's bad characters, there's bad comic book stories, there's boring comic book stories. No, we want to be purists and be like, man, I wish they put out that's what they did.
Now,
That's what they did. Now
I will
Ezekiel's a
say
little different in the beginning, but he ended up being exactly who he is. That is Parker Robinson, his background story. Now that's not his team, but that is Riri. That is her background. That is the grounded nature of the character. She went through 3 suits. That is true. I mean, this is about an 88 to 90% accurate story, but it's just whether you care about the character or not. And if you don't care about it, then it's going to be trash to you no matter what.
All right, so the next question I got is you know, what I want to mention is Tony Stark doesn't necessarily have a perfect Marvel career in the comics
Of course he does.
or the MCU.
Who's playing the stream in another?
Yeah.
He's
He's
in
got
another.
things in his closet.
He said, I went unmute. I'm here now.
I went
Hello?
unmute. I'm here now.
Yeah, I hear an echo.
Hello?
Is it?
Yeah, I hear an echo.
Who's that guy?
Is it me?
Damn. The SSJ echo.
Jonah,
Who's
Jonah,
that?
go
Damn.
mute.
The SSJ echo twice. That's crazy. Johnny, go mute.
Every time I try to leave, something keeps coming in. My bad.
Hello,
Muted
hello.
myself.
Yeah, that's Jonah.
I gotta wake you.
That's Jonah echoing.
You're a Jonah.
So we'll just mute each other until like it's our turn to speak. Then.
Yeah, I guess Jonah, when you're ready, just unmute yourself. But yeah, that's what I was trying to say. That threw me off. So
Yeah. Just continue. You said Tony Stark hasn't been perfect.
yeah, he hasn't had his, he hasn't
MCU.
necessarily had his perfect moments in comic books, like at all either. And to be quite honest with you, sales wise, Tony Stark has only had in comics his peak moments are 1980s, and after that it's when Invincible Iron Man in the 2010s, and he was created in 1967.
I got some hardcore rebuttals to that, but okay.
Now he's had some moments in stories, but as far as standalone by himself,
Civil War 2.
what year was that?
2013, 14.
2010s. He's been around since 1960.
Avengers vs. Aliens.
2020.
No, this year.
Yeah, I mean the 20s. But basically what I'm saying is this man hasn't really sold well individually.
What about
Neither has Cap.
Oh, I would talk about the Iron God series. Now, what about the Iron Man Superior
Iron Man.
Superior Iron Man, which was when?
2008.
Okay. Well, okay. What about Okay, no, that's Fear itself. Okay, what about the Iron God? What was the Iron God one? That's not the real one. Well, that's the real name to it. You got to give me
That came out in like 2000 and
Well, he created
18, right?
He
Or
created the
2019.
the Iron God body, out of a celestial body that was able to kill gods. That's got to be 2015, 16.
Like I said, like I
sounds
think
about
about it. But that's still not very complimentary to a property that was created
That
in the
was only
1960s.
10 years ago, and he was made in the 60s.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And
But he got 70 years of bad, ASSery.
That's all I wanted you to. That's what I was trying to point out.
You feel me?
Is that this man Iron Man has been cheeks in comics.
Bro, he's been
The
cold
80s.
business. Dude, Alien Avengers.
Nah, he hasn't been
nice.
cheeks in comics. He's been
was
crazy
nice.
good in
By
the
himself,
comics.
he's been cheeks. Like
Bro,
his own
Iron
story.
Man's
He
cold
can't
business.
tell his own comic to save his life. Until
Iron Man's
the
cold
80s.
business. I ain't doing that. Iron Man's
Nah,
cold
that
business. I
Iron
ain't
Man's
doing that.
cool.
That man
If you're talking
became.
about War
That man
Machine,
took
then
over
yeah, he
celestial
struggles to
body
sell.
and became a god himself and started fighting celestial.
Popularity.
Him as
Hold
a
on.
god killer.
Jordan, are you about to say something?
About War Machine. Go ahead.
you about to say something?
No, if I was about to say, I mean, I don't know about War. He's pretty good. And there have been times where War Machine has actually
He's
taken
good, but
over
he's
and been
not a
Iron
seller
Man.
like
He's
Iron
good,
Man.
but he's not a seller like Iron Man. No, he's been Iron Man sometimes too, even during like.
Still not as good as Iron Man.
not as great as Iron Man.
Iron Man.
I mean, he was Iron Man during Secret Wars, and he took over during the most part where he was, demon in the bottle and all that stuff.
Jonas got a crazy
did.
Jonas got a crazy delay.
Tony came back later.
Jonas, you gotta mute yourself.
You gotta mute yourself when you're done talking.
All right, got you. Hang on.
There you go. I
hear you though, Johnny.
You got a point, bro. You got it right. Superior Iron Man. All that.
I mean,
Man,
I'm just, like, I know there's a lot of attachment with the man Iron Man, but like, he's important in a lot of other people's story, but nobody's investing in buying his comic. Not until the 80s and really the 2000s. It took him that long.
Which is all he needed. That's all he needed.
I mean, if Marvel kept on promoting Spider-Man, Hulk, and X-Men, then Iron Man is gonna feel like Iron Man will be excluded out of that.
Bro. Iron Man's got hands for the Avengers. I mean, he's got a contingency for the Avengers like Batman does. He's got smoke for X-Men. He's got a whole Civil War with Captain America. He's got mad beef with any type of
Civil Wars.
He's got a whole MCU space beef with Thanos. He's got a Aliens versus Avengers beef. He's got a whole. Hold on, I'm trying to think.
He got robbed in Armor Wars.
Oh no, I'm thinking of Secret Wars. But he do that. No, I ain't thinking about that one. I'm thinking
about.
But
people always try to go after Tony Stark's tech because it's impressive to
his tech is crazy. It sounds crazy to say, but yeah, bro. Man, okay.
How many times has Bruce Wayne gotten his tech stolen?
There is no
thousands. There's nothing that he does. So he went almost
this
like
man went
40
to the
years?
Celestials and said, "Give me your armor. I'm gonna make a stronger version than you."
So you
and
mean
then said, "I'm
was
gonna make a god killer version of you." Huh?
He was never Cheeks.
He became a god, bro. Tony Stark became a god, bro.
I got you. I'm just saying, like all these arcs happened in the 2000s. This man went this long with an uninteresting story. Like Spider-Man was killing, Fantastic Four was killing, Hulk was killing. Like Tony's not been the guy since the 2000s.
Tony's been a god before.
No.
They've all been gods at some point in time. I think honestly,
I said the guy. I said the guy.
He's been the guy and a god. I've never seen Captain America. Has Captain America ever been a god? I know Hulk has had more than godlike powers. Thor has had incredible godlike powers. My favorite, Rune King Thor, Herald of None, Herald of Thunder Thor, maybe one of the strongest heroes in all of Marvel. Period. But honestly, has Captain America ever been a god? Has Captain America ever wielded the power cosmic?
All these good times with these other characters, but we ain't talking about this man Tony.
I just did talk about Tony. I said Tony has been wielded a god. Tony's been a celestial power. He wielded the god killer armor of all celestials. Okay. Then I went ahead and named what Hulk has done. He's got more celestial feats of strength than I can count. Thor is a god on all counts, and I can counter. But let me talk about Captain America. We're crapping on Tony Stark. What has Cap done? What is Cap's strongest feat of strength? When has he ever dealt with the power of cosmic? Has he ever had the Beyonder attach himself to him? Now we're crapping on Tony. What about Cap? Huh?
I mean, we're not here to talk about Cap.
All right. This man,
you know what I'm saying? I mean, you want to put him on the you want to put Steve Rogers on the uninteresting list with Tony?
My point was you just roasted Tony for not having feats of strength. And all of the original
I said
have that.
He's not holding his own by himself.
Neither is
he's
Cap.
Somebody important in somebody else's story.
Soldier Serum. Who is Cap without the Super Soldier Serum? Who is Cap without the Super Soldier Serum?
Nobody is buying a comic that has Iron Man on the top of it.
No one is buying a comic book with Cap on it, bro. Until 2010. What's your point?
You're right.
So why are we roasting the reason
because
why
we
the
talk
MCU
about
is popping.
Ironheart and Tony.
But that's why she's popping is because of him. Who is old boy's protege? Sam Wilson. Look at his. Okay, what's his popularity? I'll wait.
Crickets.
Crickets? I mean, look. I just like how you diverting away from Tony.
No, we're not diverting.
You're like, if we're gonna talk about Tony, let's talk about how lame Cap is. Well,
I feel
Tony
like
really
Tony's
ain't
got
that
better
important.
proteges than Cap. Cap's got some proteges based off of super soldier serum. Cap, Iron Man.
Iron Man was like
we
the
have
X-Men
we
where
have
they
a
were
future
B-list for a decade.
Nathaniel Richards, Iron Lad, which is actually Kang. And look at all the other people that have been inspired off of Tony Stark's tech. And look at all the people that need Captain America's serum.
Hey, bro.
You need serum to be Cap. You got to be inspired to be Tony. Got to be great to be Tony. All you got to do is sit back and take a syringe.
How many magic suits has Tony had?
3.
Say that again. How many magic suits or series?
Yes. Suits.
He's had 2
He's had 3, I think.
He's had 2 Uru powered suits, and he had the Celestial joint. He had a Kree technological one, but it broke like instantaneously. Don't count.
Why did they break?
Because it was Boo Boo, and Tony's better than Kree.
Didn't he have like a medieval magic suit?
He did have
in the medieval time.
He did have one.
So Tony made a Boo Boo suit that malfunctioned?
It was the Kree. It couldn't take the power output that he was used to his nanotech having. And so then he infused it with power of the Nova Corps, which was not Richard Rider, but it was Kid Nova, Sam Wilson. We're getting out of our stuff, okay? We're getting away from
No, you're actually doing what Tony Stark does.
I said Sam Wilson.
He doesn't hold his own, and you got to bring somebody else up.
Tony has always been great. You're just gonna completely ignore Tony's importance to the MCU? Just his importance to the MCU.
I didn't say he's not important. I said he can't hold his own. Like by himself, but Tony Stark's story doesn't.
He created time travel to even create the hero
Nobody's
aspect of what
Tony no more.
So who else created time travel for the heroes to survive in the MCU? Who else did that? Everyone else was regular.
MCU or period?
The MCU, because the MCU is a part of it now. Obviously, he created the time travel that allowed us to go and back.
Out.
Who?
There is a movie that's about to come out that's got some time travel.
There is a movie that's about to come out, but the reason we have Endgame is because of Tony. Tony created it, he saved us, and died for us.
Jonas says Sam Alexander.
Man, get him. Tell me there wasn't a bigger hero that was more important than Tony Stark, Robert Downey Jr. From 2008, 2019. I don't care how great or how
Robert is the only reason why we care about Iron Man. That's it. Nobody cares about Iron Man.
You on our team. So high five. What you talking about?
I'm just saying. This for
I don't know who hurt you, Jalen, but I've always liked Iron Man. Because I first saw him in Spider-Man. This is before I started reading comics like that. Saw him in Spider-Man animated series, and then he had his own Iron Man animated series that I also watched with my dad too. That I like.
Man. I'm saying if you put the money in Riri hands, she'd probably do better.
Absolutely not.
No,
she's a trash character.
No,
she would not do better.
I'm a him. Hold on.
She's a trash character.
Let me reload real quick. Hold on. Let me reload real quick. Okay. There's one part I had in the very beginning in this show, and I represent my black women and my people. You know us. I hated this part, which is, you think Tony Stark would be Tony Stark if he wasn't a billionaire? If he wasn't into that? First off, if you know his origin, he's adopted. I got smoke for you. Second off, Tony Stark built this in a cave with scraps. Okay, he didn't have MIT. He's
selling weapons
nice.
to terrorists.
Iron Man
he's a villain. He killed people.
In Iron Man 3, when his suit died down after the Mandarin attack, this man went to Home Depot and fashioned an entire set of James Bond gear and killed a whole set of like first class henchmen to go into some stuff. Remember when Civil War, he was retired. He turned his iWatch into a bulletproof whatever. Don't talk about if this man was a
look what
billionaire.
Jonas said.
He
was in the Hulk
man,
cartoon too,
bro.
because it was a
His
shared
own
universe.
cartoon as well. 2 seasons.
Wait, hold on. What John talking about? Hold on.
He said first time I saw Iron Man was in the Hulk cartoon.
Yeah, because it was Hulk, Spider-Man, X-Men. They were all same universe.
And Iron Man.
So it makes sense.
Fantastic Four.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
Fantastic Four.
we propping Iron Man. We going back to roasting Iron Man. I got the smoke. Where my gun? Where my
No, but I love Iron Man. And you're also
I'm
forgetting the video games, Jay Leno. Like Iron Man's been in pretty much mostly every Iron Man game you can think of. He was even in X-Men Legends, I think. Wasn't he in X-Men Legends?
Children of the Atom. He's the
Yeah,
only
he
one
was
with
in
the
X-Men
first
Legends.
one. Infinity.
Yeah, he was in X-Men
Proton
Legends.
Cannon. Infinity.
Proton Cannon.
Yeah,
And,
bro, don't
Marvel
get me
vs.
started.
Capcom.
He was
Don't
in
get me
X-Men Legends too.
Oh yeah, he was in X-Men Legends too as well. And yeah,
Yeah,
that's pretty significant
Iron Man,
for
bro. It's
him to be
Iron
in that.
Man.
If it's an X-Men.
That's one of my dad's
Iron Man.
favorite. I had to get him.
I think Spider-Man might be in one of those games too, if I'm not mistaken.
You know, we're talking about Iron Man and Spider-Man. I'll say this real quick. We were talking about Riri. I'll go back to it. You know, there's a feat of strength of Riri we got to give her some props for. You know what I mean? Because everything that really Iron Man all the way up to like Mark, I'd say 12 or 14, Riri has the feat of strength for us too as well. But there is one part in the Ultimate series before she gets her whole suit shattered by Thanos. She's going hands up with Carol Danvers, Dr. Doombot, and Spider-Man himself. And she actually kind of wins, bro. And Spider-Man actually can detect Punisher and a whole bunch of other people like Magic, Cloak and Daggers, all their attacks. He knows that Riri is about to attack him. He still can't dodge it. Riri's feet, like speed and electronic whatever speed boost of her suit, Spider-Man can't dodge it. I think that means something. That means something.
Saying, dog. I'm
That
just
means
saying,
something.
dog.
He tried.
Riri's
He was dodging
potential's got
Magic,
upside,
in
dog.
the same comic book, Magic, Cloak and Dagger, and everybody like this. And he knew, and he saw Riri coming. He said, Riri, whatever deployed. You see the whole thing go up. You can look on YouTube. His spider, whatever deployed. He tries to move. He can't move. Third time, can't move. Second time, can't move. Blah, blah, blah. And she's just like, you done? And then she gets clapped. Don't get me wrong. But he couldn't stop it. He couldn't stop it.
Jonas
He can
says
fly
Stain
like 4
stole
times the speed of
the
sound.
weapons really and did everything behind his back.
You said who?
Stain?
Stain.
Oh,
so,
Ezekiel Stain.
Yeah, Ezekiel. He was made out to be a little bit of a beta in the beginning. No, not a little bit. Excuse me. He was.
No, he
You're
was
right,
a beta
after
the
that.
entire
He
time.
He was a doucheberry.
Like, remember when he stepped in the dog doo-doo and then
he
tried to talk to the neighbor like, can you please stop getting your dog to poop on my lawn? And she didn't care or whatever, blew him off. And then she tried to like cut. He went over to her flowers and started cutting up the flowers. I'm just like,
that was pretty funny.
I would have taken that dog dung and thrown it at her lawn, at her door.
Funny. At that point in time, I had to remind myself that this is Disney. but in the end,
where the man has to be beta.
And I'm not going to argue there.
This is still MCU.
You have
since
more.
3 years
You
ago.
have more than enough points to back that up. But at the end, by the end of it, he was his comic book counterpart. He was, by the end of it, he was. He lost all
but
of
at the cost of being a beta.
Unfortunately,
remember when Riri had to kick him in the groin to reset him or whatever?
Wait, what the? Why is my door beating? Wait, what is going on? Hold on.
Oh, he got somebody at the door. 5-0.
Oh, that's you. Oh, I thought I heard. Oh man, I picked up the piece. My fault. Oh. Excuse me.
All right, so we're gonna get back to the stream.
Sorry, guys. My bad. I meant to mute myself. Excuse me.
What was your next topic, Jay?
Well, I guess moving forward from having our fun with Tony Stark and Ring, we can get into our I'm gonna have to mute you. You
Hey, Jay
singing
Leno.
in the stream.
No,
What up?
honestly, no, I wasn't saying. I was thinking because I thought you wanted a little bit more of a feat of strength of Riri. I'm just trying to
I
keep the
did,
vibe.
but then you stopped everything what you were doing.
I
Hey,
I
Jay
thought someone was
Leno.
breaking in.
What's up,
That's why.
Ed?
So I stopped. My bad.
You throw another moon at me, and I'm gonna lose it.
I'm trying to think of what else Riri has done because, like, Riri. Outside of her first one, she retro refitted it. She does have a story of what's her Riot Heart, the steampunk story of her, where she gets with Hubie Brown. You guys are familiar with Hubie Brown from the Multiverse, the Spider Verse, the Black Spider-Man with the hair. You know what I mean? That had the whole retro type of animation that was on him, the steampunk, rock and roll. Sunset Overdrive, spikes on the shoulder, down with the man, dictatorship type stuff. There's a version of her like that. There's a medieval version of her, Lady. Oh, dang, my bad. I said, what up, boys? My bad. She went to the bathroom. Lady Ironheart, where she goes back into the medieval times. And her armor is now, instead of all Stark technology, it's made out of chainmail and stuff. And instead of like an AI onboard system, she has what's that? They'll come to me in a little bit. But yeah, and then there's the ultimate version of the March. Oh my goodness, I need to take this 1 second. I'll be right back.
All right. Yeah, so SSJ, you're about to say something?
I was just saying my quote, if you recognize that, since you were trying to pivot from Iron Man. Jay Leno,
my apologies,
you throw
guys. I'm still here, though. I
me,
gotta take this
and I'm
quick,
gonna
but
lose it.
yeah.
Hold on. No. I can't recognize that. Remind me what that was.
That's when Iron Man threw the moon at Thanos in Infinity War, and then Thanos goes
You said that
Stark.
backwards. You said that backwards. You said Iron Man threw the moon. That's when Thanos
He
uses
threw.
his
Yeah, I'm
Infinity
sorry. Yeah,
Gauntlet and
Thanos
throws
threw the
moon
moon
at.
with the gauntlet.
There we
yeah.
go.
And then
There
he
we
says,
go.
"Oh, you throw another moon at me, and I'm gonna lose it." And then Thanos
You-
goes Stark.
Stark,
You know me.
you know me.
I
I'm
do.
not the only one cursed with knowledge.
Cursed with knowledge.
There we go.
There we
Slow it
go.
down.
Then he went in and did his whole, and they gave him the best one, and it's all bad for a drop of blood.
You know what? That was probably one of the best fight scenes in Marvel. In one of the Marvel
What are you
movies,
talking
Iron
about?
Man
It is
versus Thanos.
Infinity War, bro. Of course it is. Of course.
Yeah, it is. What do you think about that, Jay Leno? Since we were,
I think it was dope, but I you know what? I bet that wouldn't even happen in an Iron Man comic.
I mean, Thanos is an Avengers level villain. He's not gonna just show up in a solo comic.
I know. I mean, like, it's not that I'm against Iron Man. Only thing that I'm saying is like he can't sell by himself. He's like a part of the inclusion of the Avengers as a whole. And yeah, that's all I was saying. Like, he can't sell by himself. Not like Hulk can, not like Spider-Man can. And then yeah, I mean, I only own like very few Captain Americas. So, but Robert Downey Jr. made Iron Man in, like a property to be sold by itself alone. With the Invincible Iron Man series. That's all. That's the only point I was trying to make. Jonan says the original Prowler, Hubby Brown.
Yeah, the original Prowler was Hobby Brown instead of Miles Morales' uncle. I think he's the third Prowler.
Yep. So I believe our next section is going to be did the Avengers films ruined the grounded superhero films? And when we before we had started this, Bundle had a suggestion that I kind of mentioned exactly what am I trying to say when I say Avengers films ruining grounded films. I'm basically stating that the storyline of the MCU was sped up, which neglected possibly some of the core members of the Avengers' villains or small minuscule their own sequels. They kind of prevented more sequels from your favorite superheroes because they wanted to make an Avengers film. Because I've been I've been noticing a lot of people asking for street level grounded movies from the original Avengers. And so I wanted to ask the rest of the cast what they thought of that. I can start off with you, Darrell. What's your thought?
Nah, I get what you're saying. You mean like from start to finish, just a clear cut story without ties-ins and with like end credits and stuff. I do be hearing a lot of people on YouTube talking about that they want to uh one clear story without all the tie-ins and stuff like that. I mean, I'm cool for it in a way. Like me, I say I love Marvel for what they built with two Avengers. I love the tie-ins, and for me, it's fun. So I don't have a problem with them doing the tie-ins and stuff. Long as they got great writers, I don't care. I actually enjoy it. But that's just me. You know what I'm saying? Like I love the tie-ins. That's just me.
Hmm. Okay. Okay.
But I get it though.
I like the progression because I've read a decent amount of comics, so I mean, some stories I would like to see happen on film, but I don't. I think they should just do it. I don't think they should have to explain it. Just have it happen. But I'll just move down beyond my opinion. What do you think, SSJ?
So, like you're asking about like if the Avengers movies ruin grounded storytelling for superheroes.
Yeah, if whether or not you do think it ruined it, or if you would, or would you prefer instead of this inclusion of different heroes and trying to make lead up to the Avenger films, etc. Would you, whether or not you just maybe want just a regular Thor movie or just a regular Hulk movie, whatever your opinion is.
To me, I think the Avengers are always a nice event to look forward to. So, an Avengers movie, like every 5 to 10 years or so, doesn't hurt to see the characters all be on screen together to take out a foe, especially if this is supposed to be a connected universe. Because I know some folks, on one hand, they complain that, oh, well, we can't get these grounded stories because we always have to have cameos and things of that nature be in these shows. The character can't be by themselves. For example, Tom Holland's Spider-Man. But then on the other hand, you have fans that will say things like, well, let's say Moon Knight, for example. Moon Knight, which was relatively by himself and his own kind of story within the MCU. Some folks would have rather Moon Knight have a cameo like Werewolf by Night or Blade to kind of further expand the universe. So I don't think it hurts the Avengers. I don't think the Avengers films hurt grounded storytelling. It's just we have to have good, consistent storytelling because after most of the Avengers films, we did get films or TV shows focused on, or they tried to focus it on solo characters, but we got bait and switch. Like Hawkeye, it was like they advertised Hawkeye to be like a Christmas story where he's supposed to save the day before Christmas before he goes back to his family. It's supposed to be like Die Hard, but for whatever reason, it's a Kate Bishop story. So if they don't go ahead and switch the narrative and keep it grounded, keep the storytelling actually like make the storytelling actually make sense, then I think that I wouldn't mind it.
Hmm. I mean, to me, it's like I don't know, it's a yin and a yang. So like, I think that there's like a moment if you're really an Incredible Hulk fan and you don't and you obviously haven't had an opportunity to see the Incredible Hulk like have his best moments because of what they've done with him in the MCU. I would say that I wouldn't want an Avengers film for the Incredible Hulk. And maybe you have an opportunity to see Hulk at his fullest. Planet Hulk. So those are moments that I think that will be in favor of for those people that enjoy a character like that. But again, with the Avengers, to me, I just feel like the storyline got sped up and people didn't get an opportunity to really see their favorite characters, and
Mm.
that's what they're complaining about. But at the end of the day, guys, keep it a buck. I think everybody's hard to please, and it's just somebody's going to be disappointed.
I
Yeah.
think to your argument, which you just said, people are mainly annoyed with the recent writing and how they've been doing the movies in this multiverse saga. Because the multiverse saga isn't like most fans are cool with the multiverse, but how they done the multiverse was relatively lazy. Like, oh well, if this character doesn't work, we'll just have a different version of this character, but it's in the same universe, multiverse. Like people just thought it was lazy and they got tired of it.
Mm, well, I mean, yeah, that's I don't know. That's just I mean that's just a tough one. It's like I don't think there's a 100% way of executing what you're trying to get everybody's wishes, because then at the same time, majority of the world just want to see a good film and characters that they're used to seeing on film. And then yeah, it's deciding how are you going to bring everybody together. And the more characters that you add, it's kind of hard to even schedule these guys to do films when they're acting in other films as well too. So
Mm,
I don't know. Honestly, I feel like we're over critiquing, and there's these moments, and if your moments haven't happened, just appreciate the moments that happened in the past. I'm kind of getting tired of people just really just complaining about stuff that they're not interested in. Just my opinion, because like I have to see it on my feed, like a plethora of people like complaining about stuff. Like just don't watch it. I don't know.
yeah, I know what you mean.
Jonan says Captain America has Red Skull, Baron Zemo, the Serpent Society, the Leaper, Taskmaster, Crossbones. Who can fight? Yeah, so I mean, if that's really what the world wants, then let's just scrap the whole idea of the Avengers and do this. And if other characters happen to join alongside each individual Avengers storyline, that's cool. I don't think people want to see the Avengers anymore like that.
I disagree.
I think they want new refreshing. So to me, I think at the end game, you just set off newer characters, almost like how you did Chung Chi or so. But just like I'm getting what you saying, like just a cohesive one story, just to build that character. Just focus on that one character and stuff like that, and just so you can fully invest in them and get behind them. I think they need to do more of that. Also, with just to establish them so people can like them more. But when you already created a universe and already created this thing, it's kind of hard to just keep
Yeah,
doing that repetitively. Like just focus on one when you building up this whole universe and all that.
yeah,
And with the whole COVID and the actors guild or
writer
the
strike.
little thing that happened, so they they in a crazy situation and stuff like that, and probably they can't get the best writers and team all the time too to work on their projects like they used to.
Yeah, it's like yeah, it definitely probably changes the pace of everything. Honestly, guys, I've suffered the bug myself. Like at the end of the day, one of my favorite characters, Vision, he completely got disrespected in the MCU. He just,
Mhm.
you know, he's no longer like relevant anymore. And last chance I got to see him was WandaVision, and I really didn't see Vision in
Technically,
WandaVision.
in What If, I'm surprised you didn't watch this because your girl in the What If season three, Riri Williams, in this What If universe, I guess she takes control of Vision or something like that, kills him, and then becomes like half human, half android. It was terrible.
My feelings would have been hurt. Let me see here. Jonas says Iron Man had the Mandarin who they messed up. Hey, Darrell, you did say people were mad at what was that Iron Man 3 with Mandarin?
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah,
Yep.
he was terrible in Iron
That's
Man
Mhm.
who
3.
they messed up. Of course, Ironmonger,
And he was
Whiplash,
worse than Shang-Chi.
or Backlash, Stingray, Blizzard, Living Laser, Grey Gargoyle, and so he can fight in various movies. So yeah,
Yeah, but Robbie Downey Jr. can't keep doing it forever. Like you, let them man, let them people like rest. They did 10 plus years of iconic films and working hard, letting new young people come in and regroup. You can try to bring the past, but a lot of them actors and all that got other stuff to do. They're not gonna come back. And then if you try to reboot, you're only gonna do what DC do every goddamn time is reboot every they only core three superheroes. People don't want to keep seeing that all the time. So just build up new characters and stuff like that. Just have great writers. If you have great writers and great directors, you can make D or C level characters be dope, just like they did with Iron Man, Captain America.
They don't have those great writers anymore. And what's funny, y'all had mentioned the writer's strike as an excuse for Disney, which yeah, the writer's strike. They finally didn't really decide to get rid of those writers that were writing these terrible shows that were woke, like She-Hulk and Miss Marvel and Wanda. Like they didn't get rid of those writers until two
WandaVision
years
wasn't
later.
woke.
No, I didn't mean to say WandaVision. I meant to say What If. But yeah, those writers didn't get let go until about 2 years after the writer's strike.
Yeah. So now
And that
we
was
just
because Disney, for whatever reason, was still confident that people would love and eat up this MCU, but people are now starting to get tired of it.
I mean, honestly, we did become a bit spoiled. There was a moment to where we appreciated being able to have these characters on film, and then I mean, honestly, like when we started getting the when we stopped, honestly, when we stopped getting the movies of the characters leading to the Avengers that weren't the Avengers characters, that's when it went downhill. Like people aren't interested in Ant Man that much. People weren't interested in Shang Chi.
Shang-Chi
Um,
could have been good, but that movie was terrible. They
what's
should have
wrong?
made it.
What's wrong with?
They should have
Please
made
tell
it.
me what's wrong. What's wrong with
hey,
Shang Chi?
what's wrong with
Okay,
Shang-Chi?
so Shang-Chi had Marvel's Katie, one of the most annoying side characters ever to exist. Marvel's Katie. Shang-Chi's the whole issue with Shang-Chi is that the villain, Shang-Chi's father, the main reason why he wants to get that necklace and basically get that portal to the portal to open is because he misses his wife.
Who wouldn't? What you talking about?
I thought it was lame.
So
And
so
Did you like
also,
the fight scenes?
the only fight scene I liked was the fight scene where Shang-Chi and Death Dealer fought. All the other fight scenes I did not care for.
At all? Like nothing. None of those fight scenes was cool.
Mhm.
That's crazy.
Nope.
And
Movie
so
was
you
trash.
so you think that switch up would have made the film sold more? Honestly, I just
If
don't
we
think
would
people
have
are
had a
interested in
stronger
Shang Chi.
villain, they also promoted the film to be like this big city or whatever, little China big city, where it was supposed to be like Jackie Chan based martial arts and kung fu, where it's like from those old school karate films from the 90s. Nothing like that. It's more of a Disney princess story with Shang-Chi having to take Katie with him. He wasn't even the strongest fighter in the Shang-Chi movie. The strongest fighter was his sister that kicked him in the balls twice.
You thought? I don't know. I still thought Shang Chi was that guy.
yeah,
She
Shang-Chi was cool.
sucked.
What up, Jonas?
I did
Back
not
in
like
here.
Shang-Chi.
Jonas said they can always recast instead of have the same actor play like they did with Batman in the Tim Burton
Nah,
movie.
you ain't gonna want to keep doing that. Like you recast, man, people don't want to do that.
Because I mean, think about this recast. They first hated Garfield, then they loved Garfield because they gave him Toby Maguire. I mean
I
Toby.
mean,
I mean not Toby Maguire. Tom Holland.
yeah, because that's a lot of pressure, especially if somebody did so great. You only gonna put more pressure, and then if they get hated on, they ain't gonna want to come back.
Yep.
Like, who wants to deal with that? I'd rather be a new character and just build your own instead of taking somebody else's mantle or
Mhm.
spot.
Yeah.
Hey, people get mad for somebody else taking a mantle. You don't think somebody else gonna take the actual name and the person look and whatever? Like, that people are too sensitive. So I would not do that.
Some characters shouldn't be mantles though. Like Thor, for example. Like Thor is Thor. There should not be somebody else called Thor. Like when they try to do Miles Morales Thor. Like no. Like Thor is Thor. Like certain characters should only be like reserved for them.
Jonas says, but I agree that with
With
that,
you,
Jarrell,
bro.
to an extent that they can and have always been introducing side characters and heroes in other movies. Hawkeye was in Thor,
Yeah,
Black
Black Widow.
Yeah.
Widow and War Machine were in
Machine.
Iron Man.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, I think they could do that.
Like I said, Hawkeye could have been the show that y'all were really like that you guys probably would have praised the most like after Avenger, but unfortunately it wasn't about him. It was about Kate Bishop.
yeah. But you gotta
He
think that's
wasn't
under,
even in the first episode.
yeah. But you gotta understand, like they bringing up the young Avengers, like them people getting old. They probably want to keep doing it for long, so they try to set it up like, yo, y'all gonna take over. Y'all the new ones. Y'all gonna be the one that grow on with Spider Man, with Tom Holland. So y'all gotta take over. The other heroes already did their legacy. They already got legendary status.
Yeah,
So
God,
they
we still don't know his origin story. Like,
so
tell me Hawkeye's origin story in the MCU. Like, we just know he has a wife, a couple of kids, and he was a mercenary. Like, he doesn't
mm,
have an actual origin story in the MCU. When we first see him, like Jonan Level Fox said in the Thor movie, he just so happened to be at the Shield base where Nick Fury was, where he was aiming at Thor's hammer, and then you don't see him again until the first Avengers movie, where he was mind controlled the whole movie until the last 30 minutes of it.
but he
So
did.
Hawkeye definitely deserves something because he didn't get nothing.
Yeah, I love Hawkeye, but also he had an important role with Scarlet Witch, her change, and when they went to Civil War, it was because of Hawkeye. Is why she joined his day side. Like he plays good role for him being the human with the arrows and stuff like that. And to me, I don't think Black Widow deserved the movie, in my opinion. But you know what I'm saying? Like I think they did good for his role, but for him to get that series and bring it on, they probably felt like, well, since he didn't get a movie, let's give him the series so he can pass it on. Since he
I
ain't
think
gonna
it's
be here for
crazy
long.
Black Widow got a movie over Hawkeye because
Yeah.
you basically know her entire origins. Like her origin story is sprinkled out through dialogue in Iron Man 2, the first and second Avengers, and then you get the whole origin story in Black Widow, the first 30 minutes of it. So I think that's kind of ridiculous that she gets one instead of Hawkeye
I thought they should have did both of theirs at the same, like probably
the
do a.
same year.
I thought they should have teamed up both of them together and probably did like a backstory mix with Turn or something like that. Did you
He
show
was
it? Cause they
supposed to
seem
be
like
in Black Widow, but they removed him for some reason. Because the shot
mm-hmm,
of Black Widow when she's about to blow up Budapest or whatever,
mm-hmm,
she's on the radio talking to Hawkeye. But Hawkeye
mm-hmm,
was supposed to be in that scene too,
mm-hmm.
but they didn't, for whatever reason, couldn't get him or didn't put him in.
mm.
Right. Yeah, because he's a big actor too, so he ain't no small actor. You know what I mean? He get a lot of roles for him. Jeremy Renner. Yeah, so
Yeah,
it takes a lot to get those all them people in, but yeah.
Yeah. So I don't I don't really think there's much of any examples of storylines in the Marvel Universe in comics post Endgame that they could have used other than use of trying to bring in the new Avengers or these young Avengers.
You said what?
I said I don't think that there's another story that they could have progressed with this MCU post Endgame other than bringing in these young Avengers.
Yeah, well, you got to say now that you brought in Spider Man, I knew they was gonna go the young route. You introduce a young Spider Man, I could tell he's gonna be the leader of the young Avengers or the next generation. So I think they all, as these older actors and stuff is leaving Disney or wherever they contract, they giving them to the young ones so they can take over and grow with the young generation and a
I
new
think
generation.
Strange is going to be I think Strange is probably going to be the mentor to the youngsters.
You think so? I think he's gonna be in the back. Like I think he's gonna like keep everything safe, like supernatural wise, magic wise. But I still think it's gonna be Spider Man because he's the most popular, and him going through what he's going through now, solo now, and all that. I kind of figured they was gonna like ship it off to him, but you could be right.
Jonan says they also show flashbacks in Age of Ultron, and then he said West Coast Avengers maybe. Yeah, that probably would be the next story. I mean, the next storyline. I don't. I mean the West Coast Avengers. It's kind of sets up the youngsters as well. I mean, we're
Yeah.
gonna yeah.
And then we still got to do Defenders too.
They're well. They confirmed them for what is that season 2 of Born Again SSJ?
Yeah, they're supposed to be coming in season 2.
So all the actors besides Iron Fist
So far, yeah, Jessica Jones,
and
Luke
Luke
Cage is
Cage.
supposed to be coming. They didn't say nothing about Iron Fist yet.
He probably got to get training though if he coming back. Cause Iron Fist supposed to make it. I was reading. I think it's Secret Wars or something. Some movies coming up. Iron Fist supposed to make an appearance, and it's one of those. He makes an appearance in. So, or was it Wonder Man? One of them. He's supposed to make an appearance in.
Jonas says, I'm not feeling Peter Parker leading this team though because he's supposed to be a few generations older than him. I think the only person with a moral compass out of the young Avengers might be Miss Marvel. And I think
Yeah, but
she always has a connection with who was for the elder legendary members of the Avengers that's left. I think she's the only one that has a relationship with everybody.
or Miss America, or what's her name? The Latina.
That's
Is
it.
she a
That's what I'm
little
talking about.
older? Huh?
That's what I'm talking about.
He might be talking about America Chavez.
Yeah, America Chavez. Because Miss
Mhm.
Marvel, she's Indian, I think.
Yeah, yep.
So I
And then
think Chavez,
I saw that.
especially with
Dang,
Doctor
y'all really
Strange.
want these characters? Ugh, I don't.
I mean, that's what they're giving us, and I don't have anything
Yeah.
to anticipate for. Like, I just got to see what happens.
They're
More
giving
so
us the
than
scraps, and y'all are
expectation.
accepting the scraps. Do not want to see Ms. Marvel, the Young Avengers, or none of these characters. Please, Kevin Feige, reboot it.
I mean, I liked the Young Avengers cartoon, so I'm cool with it. I hope they showed T'Challa's son with the Storm. I wish they would have did that with his powers with Storm and T'Challa's. I thought that would have been cool, but they ain't doing that no time soon. But I like the Young Avengers. I'm cool for anything fresh and new or fresh and new characters. You already gave me legendary characters. Now it's time for something else.
And then
So
the kids that are growing up now are familiar with these characters. Not to mention, you still got the what's the dude Dick Ryder,
those are
Richard Ryder, yeah, Nova. So they still have to introduce him. I mean, these are characters that kids is like used to, like yeah. And then you got White Tiger that could eventually come around, and you got to remember, you got to understand, like these kids is familiar with those guys.
yeah, and Young Patriot or was it Patriot? You got yeah, it's a lot of young characters, and then was it Wanda's twins? They gonna bring the other twin back, so we don't know what he's gonna appear in. Yeah, I got potential. You just gotta let them grow. You just gotta give them obstacles to let them grow.
I've read their stories in the comics. They suck. So
Yeah,
you guys are gonna be thinking quite differently when you see how bad these movies and shows turn out.
yeah. They all,
Trust
you
me
can
on
always
that.
turn a bad comic to something dope.
I'm
Not the MCU.
I mean, they just need
Not
better
with
writers.
Ironheart.
I
Not
don't
with
I'm
Echo.
when it's time to
Not with Born
reboot.
Again.
I mean, when it's time to reboot, it's time to reboot. But I mean, right now they haven't done it. I don't want to rush a reboot though.
Yeah,
When they reboot, I want to miss the characters it's about to bring back.
and then if you reboot, you're gonna risk it be really watered down. you gonna wish it really be trash.
Yeah.
I disagree because they have more rights now. So if you reboot, there's a chance of actually having more of those characters and more accuracy now because they have the X-Men, they got the Fantastic Four.
Like, I
You
think when they reboot, they're gonna give us like the Ultimates. We're gonna get like different variant universes. They're gonna pick a new variant universe. Right now, they focused on the 616, and I think everybody's tired. If you want to reboot, you don't want another 616. That'd be redundant.
Well, this Earth is 19999. I don't consider this 616. The 616 is the Marvel Comics. That was just something Kevin Feige was just saying. That's
Okay.
talking
Well, I
out of
mean,
his
okay,
butt.
whatever universe this is right now, I don't want a reiteration of that. If they're gonna revamp it, give us a different universe.
yeah. Because now you got to think about better writers or newer writers. You got to think about actors that can bring do something. You got to elevate what they already been done in the past.
Yep.
So that's a whole nother lane. Like you're not just coming back as a new character. You got to try to do something better than what the people did
Yeah.
before.
I want to see,
They need
you
to
know,
hire writers that actually you read the comics and actually like and respect the comics, not these stupid writers that only want to do like politics and agenda based things in their story.
I don't want them to try and redo. I don't want them to redo any of the movies that we've seen so far.
Yeah,
I want
and,
them to do, the alteration.
and you got to think that, like comics has politics and all that in it since the beginning. It always been in it. Anything
It's always
you think of has been in comics. Anything that was going on that period of time has been in it. All thing they doing is updating it. So you don't like the update, you just don't like
I hear that
reality.
argument all the time, but when I talk about politics and current day, I'm talking about like this overabundance of female empowerment and putting the man down,
Yeah.
and just there's no guys like Ironheart. There's no guys around, just all women,
No,
and just
it's
oh
guys
yeah,
in
we're
Iron Man. What you mean? Ironheart? But I mean,
you had a beta male,
she.
Obadiah Stane.
yeah, you probably had one. You had one, but you still had the hood, and then you had the father. You had Ezekiel. What was it what's the devil's name?
Well, you
Festo.
didn't see him until the very last episode, and then the stepfather was dead. You didn't see him until holograms until the sixth episode, I don't think. So basically,
I
there's
mean,
no guys in the
her,
story.
her, her character actually makes sense. If for I think a woman would, for this personality, it fits a woman's personality.
Yeah,
Riri's story,
and you
and
talk
and
about
to be honest with you, with her being a black woman,
yeah, a hood black woman at that. She ain't
yeah,
no
it matches
bougie
up perfect.
suburbs black woman. She's a hood black woman. It's
I
totally
have a
different.
daughter. I would not let her watch this show.
Why not? She can learn what not to do.
Yeah,
Have her watch something else, but not this show. Teach her the message of, oh, well, if you don't have the money, then you can always do bank heists and sell your soul to the devil.
Yeah,
but didn't she learn a lesson?
yeah.
No, she didn't. What was the lesson at the end? Because she sold her soul at the end still. And she still, you remember she got a scar on
Well,
her arm?
well,
So she's still paying the price for it from Mephisto.
well, I mean,
Exactly. So just
that's
don't.
the end of the season, so it was set up for a second season.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Only thing, but through all the other mistakes she made throughout the season, there was a consequence. People had died. People got
Yeah.
upset. She had panic attacks. She didn't work on how to handle her trauma and her post-traumatic stress. She's always embodied it in herself. So the lesson learned is when she, you know,
And you
get
got
her
to think her journey is gonna be unique because we never met a character like her that made all these bad mistakes, and how she gonna learn from it. Like what's gonna be next for her? What's gonna turn into an actual full on superhero, or how she's gonna get away from her contract? Like that's intriguing. Like
growth.
it's not the same boring end where oh she finally becomes a hero and she does the heroic stuff and then people will complain talk about oh that's too generic or that's too boring or we do that all the time. They're gonna
It
find something else to complain.
it set her apart from Iron Man to me. With doing this.
Yeah, those
I
are the
mean,
people that
people,
love.
like I said, what you just said, people are still mostly interested in Mephisto. They don't care about Ironheart. They
That makes sense
mostly
though.
Yeah,
care about Mephisto.
Yeah,
yeah,
I
You
agree.
could have did this with any other character, and people would have just been like, "Oh, I'm just gonna follow the part two of this story just because of the what happened in the end." People don't care about Ironheart.
what they don't know I
Yeah,
heard. That's the
I
point
mean,
of making
that
a
make, yeah,
series.
that makes sense though. I mean, yeah, I don't. I'm not debating that at all. I mean, like this character. Yeah, I think like in the 2000 and she was created in 2016. So this character is barely 10 years old in comics.
Not only that, people been wanting Mephisto. They've
Yeah,
been wanting him
yeah.
for
People be
like
dying
20,
for
30 years.
Mephisto, bro.
Huh?
People been dying for Mephisto. And you're
Yeah,
right.
they've been
Mephisto
wanting him.
is so popular.
And it sets up Ghost Rider. It sets up so much with the magic and all that. So he it's worth him being there and stuff like that. But it gives a reason more for Riri to see what she's gonna do. He wants her technology brain or her wherever he needs her for. So it's gonna be worth some. Hopefully, if they do it right. The only thing
It'll
is,
be
hopefully,
stupid because I don't think Mephisto was actually planned for this show. They just put him in here in reshoots because fans were like, "Oh, well, we want Mephisto. We're thinking he might be here." After they revealed that the Hood would be here, so Disney Marvel was like, "Okay, well, I guess Mephisto makes the most sense here instead of Dormammu, even though they mentioned him too." So, nah, this story's not going nowhere.
I mean, they already
uh,
canceled part two. They already canceled part two. I mean, season two.
yeah.
Uh,
But they're gonna do something else with her. They ain't gonna
oh,
just
yeah,
leave it off
yeah.
It'll
with
probably
this.
be in like Doomsday or something.
Oh,
Nah,
of course. She's gonna be in
they
that.
gonna act. This gonna continue in one of them in the Avengers or whatever. It's gonna come back into play. They just try to figure out what next.
Yeah.
That's what,
Jonas says she didn't really learn much. She put her family in danger, and after seeing what happened with the Hood, she still made a deal with the literal devil, the person she's supposed to avoid.
yeah. I mean,
Hmm.
hell, I mean, a lot of people made deals with the devil.
Yeah.
Like a lot of good heroes made
He
deals
he
with.
said he's done work with he already has stock in
Yeah,
with other people.
and
So
you gotta think she had that cape part the whole time. We don't know if it helped manipulate her a little bit more, and she had the magic in the iron suit. We don't know if that helped her to persuade her to do the deal. It's so much they could do with that on why she decided to do the deal with the devil.
and
But
she's younger than everybody around her.
It
Like
yeah,
wasn't
she's
none of that. It
19.
was straight up Mephisto because he's a demon. He's good at manipulation. That's his
What?
main
hmm
thing. He
So
made it
that
all sound so good and gave that vision of her friend being alive. And then you saw them shake each other's hand
yeah,
after she basically agreed to it.
yeah.
So it
So
had nothing to do with like outside sources. He's just good at manipulation. She was
I
gonna
mean,
agree regardless because of his like he's compelling that way. He's like a vampire.
well, that brings more to Mephisto how powerful he and corrupted he is, and that even how smart she is, he still got her. So it makes him even more powerful. And with her, it makes him more. How did she get out of this story instead of a boring, plain, same old superhero story arc? Hers is unique because now she got to get out of this contract that she signed up for.
I'm gonna
Riri
I'm gonna
don't
keep
live
it
in New
up.
York.
I was be honest with you, when it came to Endgame, I wanted to see Thanos whoop everybody tail.
Yeah, me too.
But yeah, Jonah and Riri doesn't live in New York. She's in
She lives
Chicago.
in Chicago,
Yeah, yeah, she lives in yeah.
and that's how
Home of the
Chicago
White
people act
Castle.
and talk.
Yeah, she's in Chicago. Yeah, it's a tough one. But I don't know. I'm not disappointed in this series. It got a week or two of my attention. I got a chance to see Mephisto in the spiritual realm. Now, I will say this. I would love to watch a Strange Academy film.
Me too. Or show. You gotta do a show with that.
Yeah,
I
show.
don't
Yeah,
think that you
for
could do
sure.
a movie.
I would definitely watch some sorcerers at work. Hopefully, I get a chance to see Magic,
Hmm.
Colossus's freaking
Sister.
sister,
Yeah.
develop her powers in limbo and etc. SSJ, you can't tell me you wouldn't want to see magic again, bro.
I mean, at this point, if the writing's gonna be this bad, I don't think I want to see Magic right now. I think they should wait on her for until we get somebody who really knows their stuff.
Mm.
I mean, they probably will wait on that until they start introducing the mutants. I mean,
Yeah, I can see that.
I know the new Avengers. They got Beast coming back. Hank, the one from the classic X-Men movie, he's coming back to be Beast. So
Yeah.
I wonder this when they gonna finally start tying in a little bit of the mutants, little by little.
Well, he was in the end credit scene of the
The
Marvels,
Marvels, yeah, I seen that.
so somehow he'll be tied in because currently I forget her name, the black chick. She's currently in that universe with Beast.
Yeah, dang, what's her name?
Wasn't it like Photon or something? It started with a P.
Yeah, I know, that was her other name. She went by a couple of things.
It
They
was
all
like
Marvels.
Monica Rambeau.
Yeah, Monica Rambeau. That's what you talk about. Yeah, yeah. I, I. That's why only thing I'm be confused about is how they introduce mutants in this because
Well, if you would have seen Mrs. Marvel, well, I didn't see it, but I saw the scene
the
on
end.
YouTube because
Yeah,
the show I didn't want to watch. But
Good point,
In
bro.
the
I
Miss
mean, Jonas.
Marvel's movie, there's a scene where they reveal her to be a mutant, and I guess that's kind of the introduction of mutants in the
yeah,
MCU.
right. Because and that's the case, is they gonna clarify that Scarlet as a mutant the whole time and all that, and then her with her not being kind of Magneto's father. I wonder if
Yeah,
they're
they
gonna scrap
retconned
that.
that.
I wonder if they're gonna scrap that whole thing of her father as being Magneto and all that, and
They
Polaris being her
already
sister.
they already did because they didn't have the rights. I don't know if they'll
Mhm.
just I don't know if they'll just say like, oh yeah, out of nowhere Magneto, but
Yeah,
as of right now, he's not because they didn't have the rights.
right. So that's why I'm wondering if they the other X Men gonna come from a different dimension, like almost on that Deadpool and Wolverine,
I think so.
Hmm.
because they got Gambit coming back in that movie too. So I wonder how they're gonna do all that. And
Yeah, I need to
maybe
see his gambit again.
you said what?
I did not really need to see his gambit again. Like he
No,
looked cool in the suit,
yeah,
but I don't
no.
think we really needed to see him again because I thought he looked a little chunky in the suit.
Yeah, his face was big and all that, and that helmet. I don't know. I liked how the dude from Wolverine Origins talked. Like he had the perfect talk. Or
Yeah, I like how he
Gambit.
sounded from
Yeah,
X Men Origin.
he had the perfect what they call it Cajun talk Cajun.
That Cajun
Yeah,
accent that he
yeah,
had.
he had the perfect Gambit voice. He just didn't look like Gambit.
I thought Channing Tatum did a decent Gambit voice too. I just like his face just was throwing me off. He didn't have a beard. He had
Yeah,
like a fat face, no red eyes.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. He looked like he put on a lot of pounds on that suit. But
Hmm.
I don't know. I don't know what they. Yeah, because
Jonas,
I just want to know what their plans are for X Men and for the future. Because they own squad. They got their own story. They don't need to be tied in with Avengers right away. You know what I mean? Or mixed in
Yeah.
right away.
Jonan says, I'm surprised they utilized Zeke's name because they haven't touched that in years. But they didn't give Zeke his armor. Monica Rambo. Jonas says, yes, Photon, Spectrum, the second Captain Marvel in the comics.
Yeah,
Yeah, because I couldn't remember her name.
yeah,
Full time
He
Monica
says,
Rambeau.
they retconned it in the comics too, even though we know Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch are Magneto's
yeah.
kids.
I don't like that when they do that in comics. I don't like when you retcon dope stories. Like let Magneto have his 3 kids.
Yeah, I didn't like the retcon either. They only did that because of the MCU.
I hate that, bro. Like I didn't like. I was confused too. And what was the X Men Future Past or something when they had Polaris or upstairs or no, what was it? Scarlet upstairs and then Polaris downstairs. I don't know. It was like a little confusing there when they went to Quicksilver house when they
I didn't
first
know
meet.
Polaris was in there. I'm gonna have to rewatch that.
They say her name. If you hear either Scarlet, I think Scarlet was upstairs. One of the sisters, but the little girl I think is Polaris. And then she like go upstairs to Scarlet, go up there to your big sister or something like that. Which hence
Okay,
Scar.
I'm gonna have to rewatch that.
Yeah, yeah. Watch it on YouTube. They people
Okay,
commenting that they was talking about Scarlet or one of the two. Yeah.
okay.
But they show Polaris though in the TV show. It's called X Men Gifted. If you ever watch it, it's like a mini series like Marvel Ages of Shield.
Oh, on
That
Fox, Gifted.
yeah, you get to
Or it
see
wasn't
Polaris.
Fox, it was ABC, I think.
Yeah, you get to see Polaris, and she actually talks about Magneto and stuff. And then Warlock.
Yeah, Days of
Um,
Future Past. It was sort of Wanda.
I'm gonna rewatch Days of
yeah,
Future Past.
That's the to me that's the best
yeah.
X-Men film next to First Class.
I
I
did not
didn't care
like
for
First
First
Class like
Class like
that.
that, except for like I like
Me either. I
scenes
did
in it, but
not.
I didn't care for the movie.
Yeah, I don't.
Well,
I
I
didn't
ain't
like the
like First
team.
Class.
I don't know. I just didn't care for the
No,
team. Didn't care for the movie
I like
when it took
I like the
place.
big.
no.
Well, okay. As a total, the more knowledge I have of X-Men, they've gotten it wrong every single time. Entertainment
Yeah.
wise, I do like the introduction of like Magneto for First Class.
He was
Days of
Oh
good
yeah.
for
Future,
First Class.
Days of Future Past have like the best scenes and the best action, but I'm not going to respect an X-Men film until they give me Bobby Drake. I don't know who that
Mm.
Iceman is that they had on there, but that's not Bobby Drake.
I like
Yeah.
the actor, but
Uh,
they
first,
did him dirty though.
Yeah.
yeah. First
From X Men
First Class.
movies.
Shoot, they made First Class. They made Havoc older than Scott.
Yeah, he's supposed to be his younger brother.
Yeah, his little brother. Like, why would you make Havoc older than Scott? And then his whole little, I don't know.
When
It
you
was just
make an
weird.
Omega level mutant, like a freaking like just a guy who can just just like turn stuff into ice. No, the dude could take vapor from the air and turn it to ice. He could take he
Yeah,
could take the water out your body and freeze it like at an instant. He's more of a danger to everybody around him.
that's why I think they took him out the team because he's
And
OP like
and
that.
Rogue
I
never
mean,
developed. Like
yeah. Hell, they barely showed him on a cartoon.
Yeah.
Bobby died or he just disappeared. If I'm not mistaken.
No, he left. Like I remember they showed him and he just goes. Like he was just there for a couple of episodes and then leaves or
Oh, you're
whatever.
talking about Iceman in the original animated series?
Mm.
He like
Yeah,
had got
like
a
you see him
girlfriend or
for
something like that and like left with
yep.
her or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was only in a few episodes. They should have had him in more.
Yeah,
Yeah,
bro. They
yeah.
destroyed Iceman in Days of Future Past. Films was mad hurt. Like y'all wouldn't
Oh boy,
even
they
like for
Oh, when
how
his
they
ice
killed him.
head
It
got
wouldn't happen.
smashed like an
Yeah,
icicle. They smashed him like one of them
boy
icicles.
they did him and Colossus dirty,
When
boy.
they
They
ripped Colossus in
folded
half.
Colossus, bruh. And I like Colossus. Well, Colossus is one of my favorite X Men. They did him
they could
dirty.
kill that Bobby Drake, but they couldn't kill comic book Bobby Drake like that.
They made
Yeah,
those Sentinels
they
too
had to make the
OP.
reason. Yeah, like what the
He's
freak?
one
Like
character they
adopt.
possibly couldn't kill. I will say that.
You said
I said
what?
Bobby like if it was comic book Bobby Drake, he's probably the one of the guys they
Yeah.
probably couldn't kill.
Well, they got Mystique's blood, so but it, because she can't take people's powers,
Mm,
they say she only can
mm.
mimic, but she can't take your power. So that's what didn't make sense. Like I like Bishop, like all of them was dope. Even Shadowcat, like they just had a short scene.
Yeah.
Jonan agrees with you. He says that was so weird. Havoc was 20 years older than Scott when Scott is the oldest of the
Scott, yeah,
brothers.
Scott's the oldest. Yeah,
He said Iceman was in Wolverine and in X-Men and X-Men Evolution, but Storm is an Omega level mutant too and underutilized. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, they underutilized all
yeah,
the important
yeah,
characters. Like
Yeah, they
yeah,
did.
yeah. Besides Jean Grey, only Jean Grey can
that's
be
why
OP.
if y'all ask me like about the X-Men films, I'm gonna tell you one was trash, two was only cool because I saw Nightcrawler.
2 was good because of
Yeah.
Nightcrawler.
That's about it.
He said it was good only because of like, yeah, hey, Nightcrawler stole the
He
show, man.
did.
When they
Yeah,
played, man, I
White
remember
House.
watching that in theater. I remember that in theaters,
Yeah, I remember
boy.
seeing that in
I was
theaters too.
mad when they didn't bring him back. I was mad they didn't bring him
Me too,
back.
because I had brought
But he
the
supposed to show up
X-Men
though.
Last Stand game, X-Men 3, Last Stand, the video game, and
What?
Nightcrawler is in that game as a playable character. And I thought I brought the game thinking, okay, cool. So Nightcrawler is going to be in X-Men Last Stand. He's not in it.
Mm,
No. I like, what was the point? I was like, where we gonna go? First of all, they kind of hinted his mom is Mystique, but they never do nothing with it. I'm like, what was the point of him leaving? Why not stay?
Right.
Hell, shit. It was
if
like, what the freak?
if
Like,
they're
what's
not
going
gonna
on?
get the X-Men characters right, give us the new mutants and just expand them. If you're not gonna get the original core, just go ahead and try with them. Stick with
I
technology.
told you, man, they need to do X-Men Evolution.
But
If they not
that
gonna do the
storyline
adult,
plot don't go far enough to even use that though. That's my only rebuttal to X-Men Evolution.
Yeah, that's true.
man, that's,
But it is a dope story.
I
But
just
like you gotta understand how much stuff they switched around in ages of people. Yeah.
right. Only why I say that because of the youth and stuff like that. Because we don't even know the age range they going with these teenagers. Because they do first class, they going with that teenager young college group. Then you could do X-Men Evolution. Now if they doing bringing them out like the adult, yeah, you could do like, you know what I mean, like the original cartoon. But I don't know what they going with it.
I think they might as well wipe out whoever as many X-Men they can for this upcoming Avengers film. Just go ahead and bring them in and kill them.
Damn.
I mean, it's that time. Like you gotta think about storyline wise. This is like post all the madness and all that stuff. Go ahead and
Yeah,
bring them in
yeah.
for that last
Because
hoorah
they
real
don't
quick.
live in
Dude,
X-Men don't live in New York. They live around the
I
world,
mean,
don't they?
They
I
live in
mean,
New
look
York.
at it.
They live in New
Yeah,
York.
because the X Mansion's in New York. It's in like Manchester.
Hold on, that don't make sense because how people gonna hate the mutants when you have all this stuff been going on for so many years?
That's the question. It's always been a question in Marvel Comics. Like, why is it that people love the Avengers and Spider-Man, but then hate the mutant?
Hate the
It,
mutants.
it's
Yeah, they
they
never.
they don't really have an answer for that. But Professor X, they live
Yeah,
in
because
Manchester.
I used to think they was like everywhere but New York because based on how many mutants and what was going on, like it don't make no sense if they all living in New York. But you had the Hulk and all these other mutated people, but now you want to hate mutants or the X-Men type people.
Yeah, they kind of wrote
What's the
themselves
difference?
in a corner like that. They should have found a way to like, because if you're gonna bring the X-Men into the same universe as those heroes, then some of like the public is gonna to have some kind of negative feelings about Spider-Man or think he's a mutant too.
Mm.
Like, how are you
Right.
thinking that he's
Or
so awesome, but then you're talking all this negative stuff about Wolverine and Professor X?
yeah. To me, they should have done that at the end of Civil War or something like that, where you build on the hate of the humans hating people with powers. Like you could have started that was in it, like during the Civil War, where all that crashing and or even before that, when the Age of Ultron, people, when that chick talked to Iron Man, you could build on people hating anybody with powers and all that, and you could get that throughout the universe. So then, when the X-Men does come on, it makes sense why they getting hate and they don't know how to deal with it, being born with powers and all that type stuff with a world that now is hating people with powers. Because now if you bring them in, it don't make sense why people just all of a sudden just hate them Now they depressed and stuff about if they want to be
Well,
human or not, or hide their
for the
abilities.
most part, though, like uh, mutants and beings didn't reveal their powers to the public. Like, there's moments to where like you they make a mistake and get caught, but people
Hmm.
didn't know. You know what I mean? You gotta think about it. Jean Grey, Wolverine. Wolverine didn't bring out his claws like that. Like, I don't know. When he was at the
Yeah,
bar getting drunk, that's that's maybe
yeah,
when
And some
Wolverine.
mutants don't really
right,
look like regular humans. Like you'll have a mutant
right, right.
like let's say you'll have a mutant like Jean Grey that looks like a regular girl, but of course she's got powers. But then you have a mutant like I forget that werewolf mutant's name from New Mutant. She's like a werewolf and she actually has like the
Oh,
face
I
of
know
a
what you're talking
wolf or
about.
whatever. That
Yeah,
so like there's mutants like that too. So they'll get
yeah.
discriminated on and
With
people
the
will throw
Morlock.
stuff at them and kick them out of places.
Yeah,
So you'll have that too.
yeah. I feel I can understand the Morlocks. Like maybe they figure, like say they go into the dimension, thinking everything cool, and then they try to go to school, and then be like, "Oh no, y'all freaks." So then that's when Xavier could create the school for them type, like the Morlocks or whatever. Then you have people who don't, feel great or feel loved by their parents who like y'all freaks because y'all got powers. Then go to a Xavier school. They could probably do something like that. But there's no way after seeing the Red Hulk as the president and y'all, I don't know. It's just like it's not new to y'all. It's maybe
They
what I'm
kind of
saying.
treated
Maybe
that
you
as a
probably just
joke because, like, when he first transformed, I didn't like how that one black woman goes, "Oh, since when are they red?" Like, bro,
uh, yeah,
Jonas says borders like Leech or Wolfsbane was the name of the character.
yeah,
Yeah.
Wolfsbane. They
yeah,
never said
Wolfsbane, yeah,
Wolfsbane's name in the New Mutants movie, so that's why I forgot the name. But that's the character.
yeah. Hell, did it say any of their names in it?
The
I
only
don't think I
character's name
remember that
that got
movie.
said was Magic. Everybody else's name was just a generic name. Like the main character was supposed to be Danny North Star, I believe. They just call her Danny. And then Magic, they call Magic. Everybody else, they just give them their regular first name, and that's it.
Yeah, that's the other time Sunspot been in something and still get
Jonas
disrespected.
said
I think
Wolfsbane
he
can
kick off her phone.
okay,
Yeah, but you could show a scene where she gets mad, it can't control it or
control it.
Yeah,
whatever.
she was just a
Morlock.
regular
Yeah,
girl the whole movie.
Jo-
Pretty boring, too.
oh yeah, SFJ, you didn't
yeah,
answer whether or not you were watching a Strange Academy TV
But would
show.
I watch it? Like if it
Yeah.
was a TV show?
Uh huh.
Yeah, I'll give it a chance. I mean, I would hope they do it justice
Hmm.
because that's going to be the
yeah.
magic
If it's
part
like
of
Harry
it.
Potter, if it's like Harry
I don't.
Potter, it'd
I
be
don't
dope.
have to. I haven't read any of the Strange Academies. Only bits and pieces from YouTube shorts that pop up from my YouTube algorithm. So I don't have like a pre-existing like checklist that I'm looking for. So I'm just looking to be entertained if they do still come out with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna reveal some new shows coming up soon. I think and they probably just in work to figure out what they're gonna
I
release
don't
now. So you still tease Black Knight, you still tease all these other, so you got to do
I
something.
don't want to see no more trailer reveals for Superman or Fantastic Four. Just let the movie come out. I don't want to know
Yeah,
nothing else. I've been trying to avoid every like.
Well, I haven't been looking at none of them
Neither.
because
I ain't looked at them
the,
either.
I'm going to buy my ticket for Superman tomorrow when I get paid. So basically, I'm not watching I didn't watch any other trailers besides the one we reacted to a few weeks ago. I'm not watching any new clips or nothing like that. I just want to go in and see what it's about.
don't it come out next week or this
Comes out
week?
this Friday.
I gotta go see that.
And then
I gotta go see
Fantastic
that.
Four and two, not the next Friday, but the Friday after. So 2 Fridays after this one.
You think you think Superman's going? What do you think? What do you think? The numbers gonna be like for Superman as far as sales, like theater sales domestically?
Give it. But I'm going. I'm going stupid high. I'm going like 200 million first week.
200 million first. What you got overall? Like, what you think they're gonna end
A
up at?
couple billion.
Oh, you think gonna hit a bill?
I think so.
Everybody
Because
likes it.
Superman's
Now,
iconic.
whether or not it's good and people and what they think of it is different.
Right.
But I think everybody's going to see it. We don't have a big blockbuster film this summer.
I mean, the only things in between Superman is what Fantastic Four and Jurassic World.
Yeah, that's
Jurassic World flop.
That's
it.
Hard.
Thunderbolts wasn't a top seller. You know what I mean? Like that's not
Yeah.
not the one everybody
Yeah.
says I can't wait for it to drop, man. It's Superman. Superman's the highlight
Yeah.
of this summer.
Yeah.
I can see 800 to a billion just because I think he's gonna probably be better than Cavill
Mm,
if he pulls this
yeah.
off. Like I think he almost remind me of Christopher Reed a little bit. Like the way he looks and the personality and how he gives off, he almost got that Christopher Reed. That's my favorite Superman. So he kind of got that feel a little bit, not as much, but a little bit. Where I think he probably could have surpassed Cavill in a
Jonas
way. As a
Jonas says
Superman.
700 million.
Maybe 700 million. I could see.
Yeah, Henry Cavill's my favorite Superman.
Yeah, he's my
And
favorite as well.
we will see about how David Cornspeck goes, but I think Christopher Reeves was just a Superman of the time.
Yeah. I don't know. I like. I'm not a Superman fan, but I just liked it the classic, and he gave hope when I looked for it in the Superman. He gave I want to save people. I want to help. He knew how to be Clark, and he knew how to be Superman to me. I don't know. It was just I guess around that time. I'm an old school guy, but
I'm just
Okay.
looking for action.
they're gonna give you a lot of that with this. They're gonna give you a
I
whole
hate
lot of that.
Superman, so I ain't.
Yeah, I'm not a big Superman fan, but I give respect what respect due. If it's good, it's good. I'm gonna give
By
it
the
straight.
way, in the merch shop, I have Superman Super Simp T-shirts for sale. If you want to troll the people on the day of the Superman coming out and wear a Super Simp shirt,
Yeah,
shop with me in the merch shop.
let's go, let's go. But no, I think it'd be good, especially when no movies really coming out. Especially because I thought Jurassic Park was gonna do more numbers. I thought that was gonna do more numbers, but people talking it's not that good. It's gonna hurt it. And then Fantastic, I don't think they big of a name for Superman, so this should be easy for Superman to me.
Yeah, Superman's gonna trump Fantastic Four. Fantastic Four just has
It
too
better,
many negative things going for it to do any better
yeah.
than Superman.
And
The female
Superman
Silver
should
Surfer,
at the end of the day.
And I know
the female Silver Surfer
Superman is
effectively killed that film, in my opinion. And the weird choice of casting, like with Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards,
Bro,
like a lot of
bro.
fans
yeah. I
are
don't
really
like
looking
that. I
forward
The
to that.
world is coming to an end, and
Yeah.
Fantastic Four outsells Superman. There's no way that's
Hey, you
supposed to
might as
happen,
well.
no matter what.
Hey, you might as well hung it up. If Superman gets beat by Aquaman, I mean by Fantastic Four, you might as well
Yeah,
hang it
that's
up.
all I'm gonna say.
But
Like, what?
you might as well hang it up. Just
Go
leave him
ahead.
alone.
We're gonna
Don't.
retire Superman if he gets beaten out by Fantastic.
Yeah, you can't. Hell, Superman come and beat the Fish or Wonder Woman or like instead. So if you can't beat Fantastic Four, oh yeah, you gotta sit down.
I'll be disappointed if it doesn't do that well, because
Yeah,
I like Marvel more than DC, but I do not care for this Fantastic Four at all. I don't.
yeah, yeah. I'm with you on that. Yeah, I'm more Marvel than DC, but eh, yeah, hey, right now they look like they're doing the best right now. Like I mean, we'll see
The
though.
leader of the
We'll see.
Fantastic Four to be an Invisible Woman. Come on, man. I'm tired of this.
I mean, I hope she's not the lead. Now, the only thing that she's now about
No,
to
she
say,
can't.
she now as far as force and her bubbles
Powers
is
wise,
cool.
yeah.
She's up there competing with them, but because they're already going to nerf Human Torch. But the only thing that'll piss me off is if she
Yeah,
has a moment where she's smarter than Reed Richards. She,
Oh,
there's
she does.
not
yeah, she can't.
one
It's
moment
confirmed.
that she's supposed to be smarter than Reed Richards, and that's when I'll be like,
It's
No,
confirmed.
no.
There's a scene where he tries to solve like how to get into the multiverse or something like that, and he like gets it wrong, and then she erases it off the chalkboard and then solves it right there for him. And then he tells her that she's the
Oh,
smartest
heck yeah.
person in the room.
I'm not.
Yeah.
Yeah,
How many
I'm
now,
just
times
gonna
have
yeah,
say
we
that's
now.
a
not
big
seen this
mistake.
happen?
Big mistake.
But how many times have we not seen this happen in the MCU? I'm not saying MCU, the MCU, Phase 4 and 5. How many times have we not seen this happen where, oh yeah, I'm better than so and so. I'm the better
The
version.
one guy that should not happen with is
She-Hulk. Remember with
freaking
She-Hulk?
Reed Richards.
Yeah.
Y'all remember that with She-Hulk too?
They said Jonah said blame James Gunn, not Superman. Now I'm gonna blame Superman because Superman had many different directors and still couldn't go over the loop. So it ain't just James
Yeah, I'm gonna
Gunn.
blame
Superman as a
Superman more
whole.
than James Gunn if
Yeah.
it's yeah.
That's
Yeah,
Superman. Like, no matter what.
yeah. Superman always kind of been of a boring character just because he can beat anybody. He's faster than everybody. He can do whatever. Like, yeah, man,
The kids
whatever.
is fascinated with him. People love Superman. He's the most popular superhero of all time.
Not really. I mean, well, he still good comic, but I don't hear too much people talk about Superman that much. Not compared to like Spider Man and Batman and all the
I
other
mean,
characters.
you're right. I mean, look, I'm with you. But at the end of the day, this guy's been around since the
Yeah,
1920s, 1930s.
yeah.
So
30s,
every
1930. Yeah,
look,
yeah.
it could be 30 million people that don't like him. There's a whole
Yeah,
million
yeah,
of people
yeah.
that love him.
I mean, he's the embodiment of superhero. He is the what you call it, like the leader of superheroes. So I give him that. Don't mean everybody love you and want to see you. The Sue is the
But
most powerful on the team, followed by
Jonah
Johnny. That's
knows
why I
my
said
boo
that.
Sue Storm, man. Hey, man,
Yeah,
keep
but
your
they had to beat
eyes
that.
off my woman.
No, we know she's powerful, like she's the
Yeah.
strongest one
Yeah,
on the team, but we don't have to have this
yeah.
beat over the head where she's just better than everybody, she's smarter than everybody. It's
No.
the same nonsense we keep getting in phase 4 and 5. He said the She-Hulk thing. I was mentioning She-Hulk because we got that beat over our head in She-Hulk as well too, where she's like, "Oh, well, I can control my anger better than you because I'm a better Hulk than you." She
Uh,
kept on saying that over and over to the Hulk.
yeah, I never watched it. Yeah.
So SSJ is not making this stuff up.
I got you. Look, don't like the only. I guess my only stripe against you was a little bit of how much you went in on Riri with the female empowerment. But I mean, it is included. But I don't know if it
There
was
was a lot of it.
if it was a meter of female empowerment. I've seen worse. But
I also didn't like how she was able to easily defeat the Hood. The Hood
I
was
mean, she
starting to
got
get
beat
his
up.
demonic powers in. You saw his claws, you saw his
Yeah,
face. He could have easily, like, her suit
yeah.
almost got destroyed. It was starting to crack, and then she just pulls like the ultimate cheat code, blows up her suit, but it's just AI. Yeah, that's trash.
But you gotta remember, it had part of the magic of the cape of Mephisto, and we don't know if Mephisto had any help with her winning that. Like Mephisto already told the Hood, like I wanted to replace you, basically telling him to his face, like I will replace you with somebody smarter and better, which was him, Riri. So we don't know if he had any part of letting Riri win and that type of stuff. So I mean, I get it, but she did have magic in her armor to counter, and she is smarter than him because he's not that smart.
I was under the
Like
implication that
he
she used Zelma to basically power up her suit with magic because she was afraid that in her regular suit, the way it was by itself with Natalie, he wouldn't be able to combat the
yeah.
Hood. because the hood, they
Yeah.
already
Yeah,
scanned his, like a part of his hood, and was able to tell like it was magic or demonic energy. So just using
right.
technology alone isn't going to be able to fight off against somebody that has that kind of power. So that's mainly the only reason
That's,
why she had Zelma power up that suit. So I don't think Mephisto had
yeah.
anything to do with Ironheart winning. And if that's the case, then I think that's bad writing.
Or only why I say that because that's still part of his cape. Like that's still part of him. So whatever, whoever wears that cape or has anything to do with that cape, it has him tied to it.
She had better
Remember,
prep
like
time. Just tell him what it is. She was prepped for that
yeah,
fight,
but
son.
yeah, but also remember that the cape couldn't be was indestructible. Why suddenly she was able to cut the cape part just enough to get it?
Because her
I
suit was
think
powered up with
Mephisto
magic. That's why.
right, but she at first like nobody could be able to cut that cape. I think Mephisto allowed her to do it to cut that thing
It
and they
that
have
that
it.
is that is something to point out. Like she poisoned the thing, froze the thing, blew it up. But
Did a lot
unless
and
the I
nothing
mean that
can
doesn't
happen.
yeah I mean yeah it should be indestructible. So that makes sense.
I I think Mephisto planned all this stuff to happen or banked on her to deal with that and then to reel her into him type of thing.
That makes
To
sense.
me, that's bad writing, man. Because it would just be an excuse to, oh yeah, well, it was all Mephisto. It wasn't her. Yep, it was all Mephisto.
I
He
mean,
does that though.
don't you
Like I'm
wonder?
not gonna say Mephisto has never like set people up with a bad deal to.
Yeah, did he? I mean, did he mess up Johnny
We can
to get him to sign to be
yeah, we
Ghost
can
Rider?
also assume in the MC, people are insinuating that he set up Killmonger and a lot of other people.
Yeah, yeah. I remember they. I don't like that take of Killmonger, but I can get it. But I remember the was it a Thunder, the Thor Love or whatever that dude Christian Bale's character. They said
Or the God
he
Butcher.
yeah he signed with Mephisto. I'm like baby, like we don't know who all he talked to, but that's the cool part because we don't know who he been around with.
Never know. All right. Well, guys, hold on. Let me read, Jonah. Spider-Man currently is in a good place right now, comic wise, and Batman's decent for now. I think. Okay. Gotcha. Guys, I'm thinking about concluding this stream. Is there anything you guys want to throw in or have a closing statement before I end the stream?
No, shit. We just need more, unique stories, um, unique tales. So I'm just waiting to see what's next. Yeah.
Okay. I got you. How about yourself, SSJ?
Yeah, pretty much. We do need better stories. Hopefully, not another story like Ironheart again, because this definitely was not needed and not anything to push Disney further outside of introducing Mephisto. So, hopefully, we do not see this character again.
I disagree with him, but that's just statement.
Yeah.
That's cool.
All right. Appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys hopping in the stream. I appreciate you guys for watching. This is a really dope stream. And hit that like button for us. Subscribe to the channel if this is your first time watching us. As you can see, we have different opinions on the stream. Objective takes are always welcome. Yeah. You don't have to agree with me to be on this platform. Everybody gets their stuff off, man. All right. Everyone have a good night.
All right.